Good morning, this is Seth Hamilton with GoLangua, and I want to share some tips with you about language learning and a little bit about myself as a language learner and a teacher. I've been learning languages since I was 8 years old, and as of right now, I guess to kick it off, yo hablo español, je parle français, eu falo português, yo parlo un piccolo di italiano, ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch, uh, あなたは少し日本語が話せます。我会说一点普通话，я немного говорю по-русски. Anata lemaku al-Arabia. I've studied quite a few languages. I've taught in a high school, I've taught at community centers, and I've also taught abroad. And I've taught students from every background, at every age, all the way from 4 years old up into people into their 70s. And so I, I think that there's one dogma that I really want to clear up, that I feel a little frustrated with whenever I hear people say, well, I'm just not young enough. There's so much more of an advantage. It's so much harder when you're older. And honestly, I'm fluent in four languages, three of which I learned after my adolescence. And it really comes down to motivation. I think the number one tip I would have to give out would be that it's a matter of really being motivated to not just see it as a chore, as work. You need to have fun with it. I mean, whether it's watching videos with kid songs that give you context, culture, basic vocabulary, sentence structure, or playing games, something as easy as practicing with a friend and playing Uno in Spanish, where you learn your colors and your numbers. There are a lot of very simple exercises that you can do, but when it comes down to it, motivation is the key. You have to really want to do it, and you have to have fun while you do it. There are a lot of different methods out there for language learning. It's important to explore the different ones. I'll be talking about more of them in the future on this channel. Effective ways to do things. The other thing is that I would say is to talk to people. If you have native speakers in your area of the language that you're trying to learn, go out and strike up a conversation with them. Nelson Mandela said that when you speak to a man, you speak to his head, but when you speak to him in his own language, you speak to his heart. And there's a deep connection. Somebody will really, I can't think of really any examples of anybody from any cultural background in any language where if I'm trying to speak their language that they're not willing to help because they see that you want to communicate with them. So those are two of the strongest things that you can do for yourself, and they're free. They cost you absolutely nothing. There are a lot of people that spend tons of money on Rosetta Stone and all kinds of books, which are useful, but it does not get you the same interaction and the same cultural nuances as the two things I mentioned. A native speaker and just kids' songs. Another thing that's just really important to do is not to be afraid to make mistakes. You have to speak, and a lot of times the mistakes that you make will be your your greatest teachers. I can think of quite a few. Maybe again I'll tell some stories in a series about just mess ups and funny errors and failures that they were epic fails, but they ended up teaching me important lessons about how to use a certain grammatical function or maybe some bit of slang the right way. But don't be afraid to fail. That's the bottom line. Because failure is your friend in language learning. It really is. And again, it's a way to connect with people. So please stay tuned for more content. Be sure to subscribe, comment on anything that you have questions about, or if there's a certain language that you're trying to learn, and as long as I speak it or know somebody who does, I'll try and get some videos up on that language as well. So, again, muchísimas gracias. Que pasen un buen día.